Hey you guys, what's going on? My name is Reed the Writer. Hope you're having a wonderful day today. There's been so much news in the news cycle that it's actually like too much. I took a small hiatus just to focus on some writing and get some other stuff done. I did drop a few videos which you should absolutely check out on this channel, like my SeaWorld video and me going to Hollywood Horror Nights. But it's time for me to get back to what I like doing, which is reporting on stuff. New York, right? what isn't happening in New York? New York is New Yorking. New York has been having a lot of stuff. You know, honestly, it's kind of like where to start. But I'm gonna start with this news cycle that I found today. In the subway stations, I guess there's been an explosion of crime that's been like spreading across like New York and, you know, in the subways, which is like by no surprise. I mean, like, if you're soft on crime, then crime will happen. Like, it's like if I rob a bank, but I'm not gonna get in trouble for it, I'm gonna do it tomorrow. Like, especially if I'm like predisposed to like robbing stuff and like stealing and like crime, and like that's like my favorite thing to do, then I'm just gonna continue doing the crime. And if you're not gonna punish me, then like, hey, it's another day, another dollar. And to compensate for the crime, like to make up for it, or just I guess to slow it down, Mayor Eric Adams has basically announced that a robot, and like I'll show you guys the video of the robot. The robot looks, it's not Robot Cop. Like, I thought like we would get a robot cop. Not me, I don't live in New York, but I thought they would get a robot cop, which would be pretty badass. But it's actually like a weird, I don't know, it looks weird. It looks like a vacuum, like a, you know, one of those vacuums that like shampoo the carpets. It looks like its body shape looks very similar to that. Very big, very bulbous. It moves at 3 miles per hour. Yeah, you know what, it's kind of strange, but yeah, we're gonna get into it. But yeah, it's a robot cop basically, and it's gonna be patrolling the subways between the hours of 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. because you know that's when the most crime is happening, right? Like, it's always when you're sleeping in a subway that crime, like, it gets out of control over there, right? Like, that's the best time. But they're testing this robot cop out. It's pretty interesting. It has a 360 camera like span, so it can look at everything that's going on around it. So far, the robot cop is working alongside its programmer and another like cop, just, you know, doing its patrols. There's so many weird things about this. This robot cop does need brakes, even though it's a robot. It's costing New York $9 an hour to hire the robot cop, which is okay. And also the robot cop, because it moves at 3 miles per hour, I'm not even joking, this is like the news, like this is actually happening. Because the robot cop moves at 3 miles per hour, it can't really arrest anybody or chase anybody. It doesn't have arms, so it can't take anyone down. I don't know, I guess I don't know. I guess maybe to have something with cameras roaming around the subway, even though there's already cameras in the subway. It's something they're trying, but I'm going to show you guys the video so you guys can keep up with it and just see like what this thing is about.
So Eric Adams revealed an NYPD Nightscope K5 security robot that will be tasked with patrolling the main area of the subway station in Times Square from 12 p.m. to 6 a.m. So I decided it was time for a little investigative journalism, and I took the subway to the Times Square station to see what the K5's first night out was like, and to see what this station was like during these allegedly extremely dangerous hours. The K5 didn't come out until 12:58, with 2 programmers and 4 NYPD officers standing around. Less than 5 minutes after the K5 came out, a trans woman and her friend asked 2 of the NYPD officers standing around for help, as a man was following and harassing her. They responded by making fun of her, telling her to go home, and don't be a chicken. In a statement she wrote to describe what happened, she wrote, "A guy followed me to lure me as a trans woman and cops made fun of it." So look, Eric Adams, that is a legitimate example of crime on the subway you claimed to so desperately want to stop, but your piglets and robot did nothing to help this woman when she asked. As the K5 was getting programmed, it brought out a lot of iPhones, and New Yorkers expressed skepticism.
I think it's stupid. This is not gonna stop crime at all. Give me a break, look at this. Looks like an egg.
When I asked for a statement from the programmers, they told me,
you know, we're not authorized as media spokespeople of the company, basically.
okay.
But you know, it sounds like you know a good amount about it already. Anything more than that, we can't talk about it.
You can't say anything about it?
No, they were very, cautious about that.
Which did seem a little peculiar to me, that the company would be so forceful to ask the programmers not to speak about this product. After 25 minutes of being mapped out, the K5 started moving. It moves very slowly and would seem relatively easy to mark up and destroy. But the NYPD made very clear during their press conference that anyone who hurt the robot would be prosecuted and would pay for it. At the press conference, it was repeated 8 times that the 4 cameras as the robot's face and the 360 camera at the top does not use AI or facial recognition. Yet a simple Google search of the K5 on the Nightscope website suggested that the NYPD are lying. Under the K5 model on the website is an entire section dedicated to facial recognition technology, which includes a bullet point called user-generated watch lists. And even on the brochure, which anyone can download, people detection is listed as a key feature. The K5 will be in training for the next 2 weeks, and then during the flight program, we'll be with a human NYPD handler for the next 2 months. The K5 will not be on the platform, just this main area. And after the 2 months of the flight program, Eric Adams said the handler will no longer be necessary and the robot will just patrol on its own. Eric Adams also wanted to make it very clear during the press conference that it costs only $9 an hour to lease this robot, which omits the cost of the police walking with it, the programmers, and the true cost of the K5, all of which is yet to be disclosed to the public. At 1:48 a.m., the K5 was done with programming for the day and it rolled its way back into the subway precinct. But since I was already there, I thought I might as well commit to the whole 12 to 6 a.m. coverage of the subway to document the hours the K5 will typically roam once it's fully programmed, and see what quote-unquote crime I might witness in this allegedly extremely dangerous hours and location. So what did I see? Maintenance workers working on the subway, rats running free, because sometimes they do run the city. And the only crime I witnessed was a man getting a ticket for fare evasion at 4:14 in the morning. It was very clear that patrolling the turnstiles was very important to the NYPD during these dangerous late night hours.
Yeah, pretty much. It looks, like I said, it's bulbous. It looks like a vacuum. It looks like a vacuum. It says it weighs like up to, I think, 400 pounds, something around that. So it's not going to be easy to be knocked over. Can it be knocked over? 100%. You can knock something over. Like, my only concern would be if it was roaming on its own, because they're testing it out right now to see if it can be of practical use. Because it rolls and the way it moves, it can't move and go upstairs. It does, like I said, it needs brakes, so I'm guessing it needs like a lot of charging time. So what happens if it malfunctions? Then because it's $9 an hour, it just basically means like taxpayers like yourself, you're paying for this machine just to walk around and just do filming, basically. I did read a few other articles. I'm gonna share with you guys one article I did find on it. But like some things that weren't like mentioned in the article, it does read your face. It does do facial recognition, which is a little bit scary. Granted, the phones we have, some of the technology we're already using, we're already at that point, that stage. But I don't know how comfortable people would feel having their facial recognition, their faces being identified anytime they pass through a subway, with having a random robot. And maybe the information would be transferred to some strange database. Facebook shares your information with other corporations to sell you products. So would it be like that, like the robot's keeping count or track of where you're going and where you're moving? And I don't know, it's kind of weird to me. I don't know how I necessarily feel about it. Do I think it's like a long-term makeup? Not really. Would it be better if they just hired more cops to do patrol? I think 100%. Those 2 cops in that video, I don't know. Those are those cops. But yeah, I do want to read to you guys the video, then I'll share like more of my thoughts. If you guys just want to waste your money, I suppose, but why not? The article is by US Today, and it's titled, "Not RoboCop, but a new robot is patrolling New York's Times Square subway station." And this article was debuted on September 23rd. So this robot is already patrolling at night on subway stations in New York. So it's already happening as we speak. So it's just a little different. The article goes, "A new robot is on the beat in New York City." I like that, actually. This person said that. So the robot's official name is the Nightscope 5, or K5, and is described as a fully autonomous outdoor security robot by a tech company in Mountain View, California. Interesting. That builds the robot, and it's set to begin patrolling Times Square subway station, so at least you know where it's at, between midnight and 6 a.m. For a 2-month trial accompanied by a police officer. So Mayor Eric Adams kind of just like noted all that during a press conference on Friday that week. So the robot's not tall. It's only 5'2". The robot weighs 400 pounds. It's weatherproof. It's capable of capturing a 360-degree video of everyone. And it sports 4 high HD cameras with wide-angle lenses, as well as a infrared thermal camera, that's what I'm saying. I don't know where the boundary would be between your privacy with it capturing your facial recognition, 3D camera, and also like doing thermal. So it's like a lot of things going on with the robot. It will record video that can be used in case of emergency or crime, Adam says. So that's what I'm saying. It's a little weird. K5 won't be pursuing or catching any criminals, as its top speed is 3 miles per hour. Also, the robot needs brakes, which that's ridiculous, because it can patrol for, I didn't know this, for 2.5 hours to 3 hours on fully charged battery, then needs 20 to 30 minutes to recharge, according to Nightscope. So pretty much this robot, that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to find the positive in the situation. It's like a really cool dystopia movie, like already. Sci-fi, like, you know, robotics, what I'm already seeing. But yeah, the robot can only patrol for 2.5 to 3 hours when it's fully charged. And to charge it, it takes up to 20 to 30 minutes. And that's kind of what I'm thinking. In between its patrols, because it does need to be recharged, it's gonna have to stop. And that makes me wonder, can this machine fully patrol in different areas? Unless you're setting up charging stations and booths for it to be. But since it can't actually open up its doors, or we're not even sure about how to charge, if anything needs to be plugged in, or if it sits in a square and it charges itself. So there's so many just like little loose ends with it. I know the technology clearly is new. This is like its first of its kind. I know they've tried other security measures with robotics. But yeah, this one, 2.5 hours, 3 hours. What happens if a crime happens between the robotics break? You know, something happens, which more than likely it would, because crime doesn't have a time. When a crime's going to be committed, it's just going to be committed. And you can't really capture that or just know exactly when, especially if it's patrolling like at these weird hours. The article also says the robot will not record audio or facial recognition, which we do know that's a lie. But it has buttons citizens can use and report incidents, which I kind of dig. I feel like that's something that should be in subway stations anyway. Like, you know, say if you have a young woman, elderly, the young, and you're going through a subway station and you just don't feel safe. You could press like a button and someone can be there. But at the same time, there should always be presence of patrols during like sketchy like areas at all times. And I always believe like downtown areas should always have cops patrolling, multiple cops, and subways, because we do know that crime does happen in subways. Like So there's so many movies on it. Like, I can name like 10 movies where there was a crime that happened on the subway and like there was no cops, like nothing happened. Like, it's crazy. Like, we know that. And here's this. While there's likely been many advances in K5's operations, one of the robots in 2016 knocked down a toddler in Silicon Valley Mall. The Verge reported at the time the 16-month-old was not hurt, and Nightscope officials called it a freakish accident. Okay. Okay. Like, yo, you know what this reminds me of? It's Terminator. This is 100% Terminator. It's like the beginning. Like, robots are gonna slowly take over. You're gonna start seeing them in the streets. They're gonna start questioning you for stuff. They're gonna start thinking on their own. Like, it pushed over a toddler in 2016. This is crazy. In a 2-month trial, K5 will be accompanied by a police officer to help introduce the public to the robot's functions. So that's super interesting. So I don't know. I guess we will we'll see what happens. It's a robot. New Yorkers, you're paying $9 an hour for it. If they do potentially use it, I'm not sure how much more each individual robotic will cost. But in New York, you guys are paying for everything else. I feel like on top of all the other atrocities that are happening in the city, you guys having like a robot in your guys' subway, it's just like, it's like the icing on top of the cake. It's just like, what else can happen in New York at this point? Like, I don't even know. Like, you guys are getting everything out there. But yeah, hopefully you guys keep posting these videos online, and I'll keep checking them out. This is a weird one, but it's really just the beginning of where we're at. Robots are to come. I think, like, the way we're setting things up, a lot of companies are trying to move away from using, I guess, people, the workforce, and whatever cheaper solution they can find. This is just the way. But yeah, this is what's to come. So maybe 10, 15 years from now, we'll just have full-blown robot cops walking around and like roaming the streets. It's kind of scary when you actually like think about it. It's a little terrifying. But good luck, New York. Let's see what happens to you guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll keep up with these news reports. A lot of the reports I've been collecting from TikTok are all from New York anyway, so I feel like I'll just be covering a lot of news out there. But yeah, we'll see what's to come. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you follow for more videos, more vlogs, and more random news stories, because that's what I like to do. But you guys have a great day.